In this video, I'm going to try and make a Christmas present that sells. Let's click and play. Welcome to my bomb shelter basement workshop, where this week I'm going to try and make some money. Because I don't really make any money off this channel. I sell the occasional coffee table, I sell the occasional t-shirt as well, but a lot of stuff I make for me, or I make for the fun of it. But there's loads of YouTube videos out there where people make stuff and it sells really easily online, so I want to give it a go. So I need a product that's easy to make, that I can mass produce, and that people are actually gonna buy. So I've decided to go for the foam coaster. I made this on last year's Christmas present video. It's really easy to make, it's super useful. I have them dotted around my house and workplace, so let me start by showing you the simple way to make them. First, you want to mark out the sizes of your coaster, and it could be pretty much any size as long as the thickness of your phone is correct, and on average that's about 8 or 9 millimeters. Next, you want to set the angle of your miter saw. I've gone with 10 degrees. You could go more if you want to. Next, you want to set the depth of the cut with a little fiddly bit on the side. Again, you can go with whatever size you want, then do multiple passes across the wood, moving it a little bit at a time. I've actually cut this one too wide, and I don't think I've cut it deep enough. I've also cut it along the grain instead of across the grain, and that means it can break quite easily. So I grabbed my other piece of scrap wood and did another test one. And there we go! As simple as that, as long as you've got a drop saw that slides backwards and forwards. If you don't have a drop saw that slides backwards and forwards, you could just put bits of wood behind it and progressively space it out. Like that. Back to my test piece, because this isn't good enough to sell. When you cut it with a drop saw, you end up with a flat bottom. So once the foam goes in, there's actually a gap underneath it and it's not sitting securely. So I need to figure out how to cut these with an angled bottom so the foam sits in securely. Pretty sure a router is going to be the solution, but I need to design and make a jig that cuts at a 10-degree angle at exactly the same depth that I can repeat for multiple coasters. I'm going to try and work that out. The palm router would be the obvious choice because the big router would be too big. But I bought a cheap palm router and it exploded. So I've based my design around the big router, and I had to order some longer router bits. So to make my jig, I started cutting strips of plywood at a 10-degree angle. I now have lots of little shallow 10-degree angles, so what I'm going to do is stick all them together. I also have some pieces that are slightly deeper. These are going to go on the outside, and then the wood that I'm going to cut should slide through the middle, and that should be the template. I don't know, I'm still making this stuff up. Here is the jig so far. It's got a 10-degree angle and it's got a slot to slide the wood through. So I have this, the 10-degree offcuts from making this. All I'm going to do is stick this at the top so the router sits against it. I've just got to figure out exactly where I need to stick it. The jig worked perfectly. It's cut the slant exactly how I need it at the right depth. The problem is, the jig is now broken. On the last pass, this section here exploded. The right hand side has fallen to bits. This is broke here. And when I've been going in from this side, this isn't long enough, so I need to make this come out a bit. This is also too short, so I need to add the perfect length stopper. But once I've fixed all that, we're ready to go. Once I finished the test pieces and sanded them all smooth, I gave them a coat of walnut varnish and they ended up looking rather nice. Whilst I was at it, I also gave the jig a quick coat of walnut varnish to keep it nice and smooth, but now that we've proved everything works, it's time to start mass producing them, and my first batch is going to be made out of a plank of pallet wood. This might be another cursed project. Put the wood in it, the wood got stuck, don't know why. Tried to push the wood out. As I pushed it out, the whole thing snapped. Can't put this one off any longer because I need to get these online to see if they're gonna sell. So I'm just gonna lean on the top section, see if that works. And it did. So I added a stopper to my drop saw to cut them exactly the same length each time and just went through the whole piece of pallet wood. Now this crazy looking thing isn't to protect my home from intruders like the sticky bandits. It's actually to help paint the coasters. It obviously keeps them away from the surface so you can paint both sides and then leave them to dry. Once dried, I sanded them down and gave them another coat, then another light sand to make them all smooth again, and the black wood stain ones got a coat of varnish to seal the colour in. To finish them off, I added little rubber feet and then it was time to try sell them. The aim of this video was to try sell these, so I listed mine cheaper than anyone else's online. I listed them on both Etsy and eBay, with the scrap ones listed at only £1 and the nicer versions listed at £2.50 plus eBay's selling fees, with the postage as cheap as possible at £1.55. And they even made it to the top of Etsy's listing when you search for coaster phone stand. The final result of my experiment, after listing them online for 3 weeks, I've actually managed to sell nothing. Now there's going to be loads of different factors that affect this. This project kept on getting delayed, so they have only been online for 3 weeks. If they'd been longer, might have had more chance to sell. I didn't work on improving the listings or anything. I kind of rushed them, could have made that better. Oh yeah, and IKEA started selling these online, so they just dominate the listings. Now I am going to leave these up online to see if they do actually sell, and I hope they do because I really want to do a follow-up video. Because I also want to do some more interesting ones. Some of my favorite projects have involved the crazy plywood patterns, the abstract plywood thing that I do. So I'd really like to make some coasters like that because I think they're more interesting and they might sell. In the Christmas video I released last week, I also added bottle openers to the coasters, and that might help them sell as well, although I probably would have to adjust the price. And my jig was absolutely terrible, so I need to do an improved version of that. After I did that video, I realized it would have made more sense to make a jig that attaches to the router and then fix them in place and trim them that way, so I want to work on that idea as well. So it's actually a lot harder to sell stuff online than most YouTubers would lead you to believe. So not the end to the video that I was hoping for, but that's what my channel is about, learning and experimenting, and sometimes when you experiment, you fail. But sometimes you can learn a lot more from failing to help improve your future projects. I know I do. So if you made it this far, thanks very much for watching. Thanks to all the people who watched the last video. There was quite a few views on that one. Hello to any new subscribers. But if you've got any tips, questions, or suggestions from this video, stick them in the comments below. If you could subscribe, that would be awesome. I'm trying to get another video out for next week. That will actually be a Christmas present, so I need to get back to it. See you later.